Hey adventurers, I'm Alex Popp. Welcome to another video from World's Best Adventures. Today we're going to be talking about how to pack your backpack. Some tips and tricks on how to get started packing, where to put stuff, the whole bag. Got all the stuff laid out here, but the first thing we got to talk about when talking about packing the backpack is the backpack itself. This backpack is one that I've been using for the last couple trips. It's the Aether Pro 70. It is a 70-liter backpack, and it is just full of different pockets, zipper pouches, little nooks and crannies. It is a great large backpack. But with packs, there are hundreds of different types of packs out there, all with different styles of frame, with different ways that the inside and the main compartment is laid out, where the side pockets are, just tons of different types of backpack. I'm going to talk about this one because this is the one that I use with World's Best Adventures mostly, for a couple different reasons that I'll get into later. But yeah, this is the backpack I'm going to be talking about today. It has a pretty large main compartment down in here that opens up with the top, and then it has a bottom compartment that zippers open also. So I'm going to be talking about that style of backpack. I'll also touch on packs that are all one main compartment. I'll touch on some other different types of packs, but we'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, you've got your backpack. So what do you do first? So when thinking about where to start packing your backpack, my whole method is based on the idea of keeping the things that keep you safe, keep you warm, keep you dry as possible. I do this by just a very simple method, which we call using a pack liner. Now, a pack liner could be anything. There's pack liners that a lot of gear manufacturers sell. It'll normally be a waterproof material. I always stick with just a plain old black compactor bag, a trash bag. I'm not sure what size this is, but it's an extra large version. It's a very heavy plastic. And the first thing that I do when I'm packing my backpack, and it's probably about the night before or the day before, and I'm packing up, the first thing I do is I just take this black compactor bag and I put it deep down into my bag so that it's filling the main compartment. And like I said before, this whole method of packing your bag is really based on the idea of keeping things like your warm coat, your clothes, your sleeping bag, keeping them as dry as possible. In my hiking career, I've had a lot of situations where my stuff has gotten wet and I've had to extricate myself from that situation. It is not any fun, and this method is resulting from those experiences. So we've got the pack liner in, the black plastic trash bag, it's in, and what we're gonna do now, now that it's in the bag, almost nearly to the bottom, my bag has, like I said, a bottom pocket here and a divider in between the main compartment and the bottom of the bag, but the trash bag is down as far as it'll go. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pack things like my extra clothes. They're gonna go at the bottom. Bottom of the bag, right there. Something like my sleeping bag, which is in a stuffed sack. It's gonna go down at the bottom as well. And then I use a hammock when I tent, so I have a underquilt that is also gonna go deep down into my bag, like so. And this is obviously a lot of stuff that is, it's a little more puffy. It's clothes, it's sleeping bags. So it's going to need to get squished down, which is fine. It's taking up a lot of room right now, but other stuff that I'm going to put in on top of it is going to squish it down. So that stuff is safe. It's going to be protected from the elements. So what are we going to do next? We got the clothes, we got the sleeping bag, we've got everything else that needs to stay dry. It's all in there. So the next thing we're going to want to do once the clothes and the sleeping bag, everything else is in there, is start packing all of the other gear items. This is the stuff that's going to keep me dry, but there's obviously lots of other things like shelter and cooking equipment and water filtration, electronics that are going to need to go in here as well. And the way that I kind of think about the rest of the gear is I put it in the bag in the order that I'm going to use it. And that just means, like, you know, a lot of this stuff, like the sleeping bag, that's going to be one of the last things I take out. The dry clothes, that's going to be one of the last things I take out because I'm not going to need it until I'm in camp and the camp is set up and everything's good to go. So that I don't really need to get at as much during the day. So usually next I would put in tent fabric, or I would put in, you know, my hammock straps or my hammock. But like I said earlier, this bag has a really cool bottom pocket down here, which I'm gonna just put all of my hammock stuff down in here. My tarp is gonna go in here, my hammock fabric, it'll all get shoved into this pocket. This breaks from that rule a little bit in the layers, but it makes sense because I want to be able to get some of this stuff out as soon as I get to camp. And this is a very easily accessible pocket, and it just goes all right in there very easily. This is also an area that is very well protected using this bag. Obviously that stuff I want to keep dry. My hammock fabric can get wet. I want to keep that dry. But this bag has a very interesting rain fly that is attached inside the bag right here. So I'm not really worried about this area of the bag getting so wet because it's already got the rain fly right there. If any rain starts coming down, I can just pull that over. But getting back to the layers, more things that I'm gonna wanna add, something like a sleeping pad. Sleeping pad would go in next. You know, I've got my hammock set up or my tent set up. Sleeping pad's got to come out before the sleeping bag, obviously. Cook set, and I have my cook set. This is a pretty large pot, but this is for, I mostly go out with multiple people, so this has got my stove and my bowl and my fuel all in it. That can go right in there. And then I've got about 2 days worth of food that I'm going to put right in on top. I like having the food closer to the middle and the top because that way I can get to it if I want a snack. Mid-hike, I can pull that bag out very quickly. And then one of the last things I'm going to put in the main compartment of my bag is anything that, like the snack bag and the food bag, I'm going to want to get to very quickly. So like a jacket, you know, it might get cold quickly and I might want to pull on my jacket. Something like a rain jacket would go in there. Normally I start the hike out with this on, so I might shove it in at a break mid-hike. But stuff like that that I need to get to quickly would go in there on top. So after that, whatever else needs to go in this main compartment is in there. That's done. That's the main, that's the bulk of my gear is in. And these pockets can just get, they can just get snapped together. Like that. And yeah, the main compartment is done. So the main compartment is filled, and again, the simple method is just the stuff you want to keep dry is at the bottom. The stuff in the middle to upper is going to be the stuff that weighs the most. It's going to be your food, it's going to be your stove, it's going to be your fuel. And then up at the top, it's just stuff that you need to get to quickly, or it's an area for you to stuff stuff in there after you're, if you want to just throw a sweatshirt or a jacket in mid-hike, that's where you can put it. But yeah, very simple. So we've got the bulk of our items are in, but we still got a lot of stuff that needs to go places. We've got water filters, we've got med kits, we've got electronics, we've got toiletries, and those all got to go places. Like I said before, every backpack is going to be a little different. With this one, I have a lot of pockets. I have options to put it on the back. I have options to put stuff up top in what we call the brain. And what you're going to want to do is just, use all of your nooks and crannies. Some hikers choose not to use their brain. They'll just take the brain off. And packs are designed with that in mind. A lot of them will have a flap that'll help you hold down the top of your stuff in the main compartment. I like to use the brain. It doesn't weigh that much, and it's some useful pockets to have and to get stuff out quickly. It's a great place to put like maps. It's a great place to put electronics, and that's what we're going to do right now. So I have my electronics bag. It has my headlamp. It has my my portable battery. It's got some charging cables. I just toss that right up here in the largest pocket. You've got bags for toiletries, your trowel. You're going to want to be able to get to this quickly, so you're not going to want it inside your bag, or at least I don't want to. So I just put it up in the brain. A pack cover. You're going to want to get this quickly. I don't like having stuff hung on the outside of my pack. I know a lot of people will just clip them with a carabiner right there. I don't like having stuff jangling around, so that will also, when I am using a pack that doesn't have its own rain fly, it'll just go right in its own pocket. Something like a spot communication device, a GPS. You're going to want to be able to get to this quickly if you need it, so that goes up there too. Yeah, and that's the brain right there. But we've got some other pockets. We've got a big mesh pocket. Pretty much every single pack you're going to find out there is going to have a mesh pocket like that. What I like to do with this pocket is if I've been camping and it's been raining or there's been dew or snow, I like to use this pocket to carry my rain fly in. I will shove my rain fly just like right in this pocket, or wet clothes that I'm going to dry out later, right in there. It keeps it away from everything else. It keeps it on the outside of my pack, so maybe it can get like a little bit of air and start drying out, or maybe squeeze dry. That's a great place for it. Something like a filter kit. This is a filter kit that I made with a liter bottle, and it's just my water filter, my water bag. I just put it, wherever I can find a place for it. Normally it's either in the mesh pocket on the outside, so I can get to it quickly, or it's in a pocket, like a side pocket, like that. Last things are, on the outside of the pack, you're going to have lots of little hooks and loops and places to cinch stuff. You're going to have pockets for your water bottles to go in, so you can get to them really easy. And that's just where all of your stuff, like a water bottle, is going to go. Or if you use trekking poles, a trekking pole is going to go in here, and it's going to be cinched in. I didn't realize what these were for the longest time, so definitely use them because they're helpful. They're definitely helpful before and after a trip, and during. If you have a stretch where you're not going to use your trekking pole, if you're somewhere where you might need an ice axe, that's where that can go, right in the side there. There's normally one on each side, and most bags have these. I know that pretty much all Osprey packs have them, and that's mostly what we use. But yeah, that rounds it out. And then you're just going to want to make sure that all of your different little straps and buckles are cinched and clipped, and you're good to go. You could hit the trail and stay out for a couple days. So the last thing I'm going to talk about today is compression sacks. Go into any outdoor store, you're going to see hundreds of different types of sacks and things to keep your stuff in. And there is a great debate about whether compression sacks are worth it. I have all of my gear in compression sacks, but in my honest opinion, I do not like compression sacks for a couple reasons. And feel free to disagree with me. The reason why I don't is because one, I use a pack liner, and a lot of compression sacks are about, you know, keeping stuff dry. Like this Sea to Summit bag, it's supposed to keep, it's supposed to insulate my tent fabric or my sleeping bag from water, which it does and has done in the past. But the other main reason you'd use a compression sack is to, like the name implies, compress. And the idea is that by compressing it, you'll be able to fit more stuff in your bag. I disagree with that idea. I think that by compressing, so if I have all of my stuff compressed into nice little balls like this, and I put it in my bag, basically what I'm doing is I'm creating lots of different areas of negative space in there where, you know, there's a ball here and a ball there and a ball there, and they're all hard and they can't go together anymore. So what I do instead is this. I use my compression sack. Sometimes I'll just use a stuff sack, but I use it halfway compressed. So this stuff is mostly compressed. This is my my hammock fabric, and it's in the bag, and it's mostly compressed, and most of the air is out, but it's not down to it's not a hard ball. It gets clipped, and then it gets shoved in so that it can completely fill as much area as it can. Like with the sleeping bag that I put in earlier, it is just partially compressed so that it can still be squished down by everything else that I'm putting in the pack, and just everything is squished in, and it fills in those areas on the sides, around it, and it fills the space better. Everybody, thanks for watching this video. I hope you learned a lot. If you have any comments, please put them in the comment section. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you out on the trail sometime soon.